Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining and being here with me in episode 4. So if you have watched the other episodes, you'll be able to see that I am in a different flat. I have a different background because I finally went and did it. I left my London apartment to work from anywhere, and so currently I'm recording this video in Valencia in Spain from my flat. Just behind the camera is my balcony, and yeah, I can't actually believe that it's happened and that I've done it, really. So in this video, I wanted to share with you what the experience was like, particularly from a practical perspective, because it wasn't easy. And I also want to share with you some tips for your first week when you're in a new city. What can you do to try and settle in? So I'll start off with what the experience was like. So firstly, when I was leaving London, it really was admin central. Now, anyone who has moved flat generally, let alone abroad, will know that there's just so much to do. There was cancelling direct debits, there was sorting out my end of tenancy clean, there was all of that fun stuff. But also I had to really think carefully because I was going to Valencia just for the summer, so I'm going to be here for about 3 months or so. I had to think very carefully about what to pack, and I couldn't take all my clothes, so I ended up having to move half my stuff, very, very lucky, to my parents' place and take some stuff with me, and then the stuff I was taking with me ended up filling 2 26-kilogram bags. Honestly, if you're watching this now and you've ever been traveling or backpacking, I don't know how you do it. I really don't, because I tried so hard to limit the amount of stuff I was taking, but I still ended up taking 2 huge suitcases. So that was all very fun. But apart from the practical side, there was also it was so strange leaving that flat. Honestly, I'd been there for 3 years. I lived on the back of Primrose Hill in London, and I basically did the whole pandemic there, most of it. And yeah, it was just so strange leaving a part where you have spent a lot of time there. And it was quite emotional, actually, I won't lie. And I tell you what was quite emotional was actually being on the plane, because when I was on the plane, I have been counting down to this moment. I've been counting down to this, I just want to go abroad, I just want to work on some of my own things and see if it's possible and experiment. And it was always like this dream and this thing that I wanted to do. And then all of a sudden I'm like on the plane going, and that was an incredible feeling, but also quite an emotional feeling as well. And then when I actually landed here, so I heard from my landlord like 3 hours before I was moving in, which was a little bit unsettling, but Spanish people, very laid back. And actually that's one thing I've already noticed here, just the general vibe and the general culture is just so much more relaxed and it's less like on the go than London. Anyway, I arrived and luckily the landlord was there, and the landlord came and met me and then went to the apartment and helped me take those 2 big luggages up the stairs, and yeah, moved in. So I've been here about a week at the time of recording this, and it still doesn't really feel real. I'm still kind of getting to grips with what it's like, getting to grips with my bearings, etc. But what I would say is it's just been arriving that day was such a relief. Like, I was really worried things were going to go wrong, or that the landlord wouldn't meet me, or I would just be stranded with 2 huge suitcases on my own in a new country where I know no one and my Spanish is pretty minimal, work in progress. So I think the biggest feeling I had was relief, but also a real sense of pinch me, kind of, because as I say, I won't lie, it's taken a lot of courage to be able to do this, and it hasn't been the easiest choice, but I'm really glad that I have done it, and I hope that it will be a great experience, and I'll share with you what it's like. But I now want to talk to you about tips for what to do when you are in a new city. And I'm not talking about when you're in a new city on holiday, because that's very different, but when you're moving to a new city. So if you are thinking about doing it, whether it's in the short term like me, so for 3 to 6 months, or if you want to do it for the longer term as well, then these are some of the tips that I have found have really, really helped me. So the first one is, in the first few days, get your bearings around the area that you're in. There's a temptation to be like, I'm in this new city, I need to go do this, and oh my gosh, there's that attraction and this thing. But actually, if you're here to live for a bit, you don't need to do everything all in your first week. You don't need to rush it. It was quite interesting the other day. I was just wandering around the streets and I came across the Valencia botanical gardens. And I was like, oh, maybe I should go in. And then I thought, no, why are you like just indulging in everything all at once? So I say, get your bearings, get to know your local area, but take the pressure off to do everything all in your first week. Second tip is to unpack as soon as possible. So unpacking is probably the least fun bit. So you're probably wondering, why have I said that? But once I had unpacked here, once I had put out my little pictures and things that reminded me of home, I felt so much more settled in. I think there's just something in the psychology of unpacking, because when you just have your suitcase there, it's like this feeling of, am I coming, am I going? And so unpacking really just mentally, I think, allows you to feel a bit more at home. And definitely bring stuff with you from home, because if you're in a new environment, that is really nice to have that sense of comfort there. So thirdly, find out where your essentials are. So on my second day, I went and found where the metro was, the train station was, the supermarkets, the pharmacy, and a few other things. So that was really helpful. So definitely go find out where your essentials are. And number four is to seek out communities. This is particularly the case if you are like me, going to a new city on your own. One of the things that I found is that all of a sudden, it's not like you can just meet your friend for a drink on a Wednesday night if they're free. You've really got to be proactive with the communities. You've got to be proactive with putting yourself out there. So one of the communities that I've joined is called Valencia Nomads, and it's for people who are here working, often entrepreneurs or coaches or doing various things, but they're all kind of international, and it just gives you something in common with that group. So every Friday they hold a meetup, which is really, really nice. And there are a whole load of other communities. So whatever city you're in, if you are looking to meet people, then the best way to do it to start with is to join communities and try and find like-minded people. And the fifth one is to bring a sense of familiarity into something which is very unfamiliar. So what do I mean by that? Moving city is an incredible feeling. And as I say, I have to keep pinching myself that I've done it. I'm in the most beautiful area and I'm so excited and happy. But there's also a sense of discomfort because you've really put yourself out of your comfort zone. You have left behind what is familiar to you. You know, I used to walk down my road every day for like 3 years. I used to go to my gym quite often during the week. All of that has now gone. So try and bring things that still feel familiar to you. And for me, that has been running. I actually went on my first run today, Pilates at home Pilates, and meditation, which I've recently started doing over the last month or so. And because I used to do those things in my London flat, it's really nice to just be able to have that here as well. And I think it gives you a bit more balance and grounding. So definitely when you're moving somewhere to a new city and you don't know anyone to start with, and it's all like very, very taking you out of your comfort zone, try to bring in things that bring balance back to you and are familiar, because I think that will really help. So those are my tips for when you move to a new city, what to do in your first week. But I think overall, try and be kind to yourself, because it really is an overwhelming experience and you have to be patient. And I'm still in this, oh my gosh, I'm here, can't believe it mindset. But I know that it'll take time to fully kind of adjust and to fully feel really settled in. So be kind to yourself and just think of it as an incredible opportunity that you've taken, because it really, really is. But it's not easy, honestly. Doing all of the admin and all of the logistics and practicalities of leaving my London flat was not easy, but we did it. And if you have any advice on how to pack light, that would be really helpful. Please leave it in the comments. Anyway, I will see you here for another video soon. I hope that was an interesting update. And if you are thinking about moving city, hopefully you've taken some good tips from this video too. Okay, take care and see you next time.